Welcome in to the tutorial for working through my Bears off-season worksheet. So in this video, I'm assuming that you found this video because you're playing around with this off-season simulator that I have and trying to figure out how to do something. But if you just stumbled across this, there is a link to the off-season simulator in the description here. So make sure to check that out, and also make sure to like the video, subscribe. Let me know what you think of what you're seeing here, what of the off-season simulator itself, and leave it in the comments. Let me know. Let's get down to business. So when you open this up in Google Docs, the first thing you'll get to is this intro page. And on the intro page, number one, make sure if you have a Twitter to go follow me at BuckHisStats and follow OnTap Sportsnet and Shaving Points Podcast, where this will be published. Then number two, make sure to go check out OnTapSportsnet.com. I have it linked for you right here. We got Bears, we got Bulls, we got Cubs, White Sox, Blackhawks, Fire, college football, betting. We got it all over there. Go check it out. A lot of good writing going on at that website. And then also on OnTap Sportsnet, you can find the Building the Board project, where me and 5 other scouts and a few more flex scouts that we have there are working on building a big board specific to the Chicago Bears. We got draft profiles going out daily. We have podcasts, 2 podcasts a week talking through positions. It's really original content for the NFL draft. So go check it out, and also make sure to go subscribe to the OnTap Sportsnet YouTube page, where you can find a bunch of this stuff. And if you're following them on Twitter, you'll get it all every day just right there in your timeline. Next, we got my NFL podcast, Shaving Points Podcast, where we give out picks weekly. And we don't stop when the season stops. We also do March Madness picks. We do draft coverage. We do free agency stuff. And we'll do team-by-team profiles throughout the year. So if you're a Bears fan who enjoys other NFL content, make sure to go check out the Shaving Points Podcast on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, basically any podcasting platform you can be on, you'll find us. And then lastly, time is money. I put a lot of time into this. If you can spare anything, donations are very welcome and very much appreciated. But with that being said, let's get down to business. So you'll see here the tabs. You got the intro, then you got step 1, step 2, step 3. So let's just jump straight into step 1 here, where we need to make some cuts. So looking at this right now, we got, I believe it's 53 guys on the roster right now, or signed to the roster. And we're going to need to go through this and kind of cut out some of the fat. So looking through this here, the first thing that you think, you're probably saying, so let's find the biggest salary cap guys who might be cap casualties, right? So we're going to go look at Eddie Jackson. I mean, I don't think he's going to be here next year on an $18 million salary. It sounded like he might go elsewhere anyways. So we're just going to go ahead and cut him there, as much as it hurts my soul to do that. And then, so that's going to free up $12.5 million in cap space for us. And then we're going to go to Cody Whitehair. I do not think he's going to be sticking around next year. That frees up another $9 million in cap space for us. And then, let's see, were there any other big ones? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to trade Justin Fields pre-June 1st. So remember, you only get a couple guys that you can even designate post-June 1st. And if you wanted to trade Fields post-June 1st, that means you wouldn't get draft picks for him until next year's draft. So we're going to trade him pre-6-1. And then let's just say, because I've done it so many times in the mock draft simulator, I know Atlanta, number 40 for Fields, has been, generally accepted and fairly conservative. I mean, you might be sitting there saying you can get more for it, but I'm just trying to be conservative here and just show you how to use this thing. So because I traded Justin Fields by just putting it in right here next to his name, I know I'm getting the number 40 pick back for him, so I just need to add it into this return here where it says trading draft picks return columns. I'm just going to go ahead and go pick 40. I got back for Justin Fields. It's important to do that because that's where your draft picks will come in the next steps. It won't recognize that you got a draft pick without doing that. And then I think that puts us in pretty good shape at this point. That increases our cap space by about 25 million. And really, we're going to have to come back to this and make some more cuts later, like a Nasimba Webster, a Steven Carlson, I don't think will be here, a Doug Coleman, Adrian Colbert, just got end of the roster guys who are currently on here. Like, I don't think we're going to carry 2 punters. I'm going to go ahead and do that cut there, because I bet you he'll be in there for camp, but he won't be there. I'm just going to say it's pre 6-1 just to... I don't think you're holding on to 2 punters on the year. And then guys like Aviant Collins, Ray Mbataketa, I butchered that. Whoa. You know, so we'll come back to this later. Their dollar amounts aren't gonna matter a ton here because most of these guys are end of roster guys, but it will matter for getting down to your top 51. Okay, so now that we've done that, let's go on into step 2. Let's try to keep this as true to form as possible, as in you need to go into free agency before you draft, because that's the way the NFL works. So one thing that we do need to keep in mind is that our draft class is going to count 17 million against the salary cap. So we have 71 million, but really that's more like a $55 million number that we can spend. So going into free agency, the target is center. First things first. I like Andre James. I like Connor Williams more, but Connor Williams coming off the ACL, I don't know if that's the best idea to go after with a rookie quarterback, being changing centers early on in the season. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with Andre James here, assuming that he is willing to sign for this deal. And as you're looking through free agents, make sure to go over to PFF. And this is a obvious plug for PFF Brad, but he does amazing work over there. I have it linked all throughout this document. This right here, it'll take you straight to PFF's free agent rankings, where you can read up more about each of these guys you're looking at, get more details on them, and the contract projections. The cap hits that I have in this spreadsheet are pulled from here, so make sure to go give Brad some clicks over there, give PFF some clicks. They do outstanding work with this stuff. And then, let's see, I don't really think we need to sign a corner. And here, so one way that you can kind of track this stuff, I have your roster right here in numbers. So you can see that you have 6 linebackers on your roster, you have 6 cornerbacks on your roster, 4 safeties. I'm gonna do this a little differently though. I'm gonna cut some of these end of roster guys. So Doug Kramer, I don't think I'm gonna be keeping him on the active roster. And I'm just gonna do this now so I have an idea looking at this of, you know, what are my real needs in free agency. So a Quindell Johnson, I'm not sure he's gonna make the roster. But these other 5 guys I feel like are pretty good bets to be here. And then, let's see, Montez Sweat, obviously going to be here. Khalid Kareem, I think he might be out. And then, fullback, Kari Blasingame, yeah, he'll be here. At D tackle, I think Chris Dwumfor is probably not here. Linebacker, I think Daniel Hardy's out. Mika Baskerville, maybe he does make the roster. I'm not completely sure, but I'm going to keep him there for now because linebacker's not a need, so I don't need it showing up in the numbers there. Cameron Lyons is here, and that's really interesting because I don't know what the Bears' plan is here. Maybe they're going to go with a new long snapper, or maybe they'll re-sign Patrick Scales. I'm going to leave him for now and say, you know, maybe that they go with a new long snapper there. Bill Murray, not the comedian, but evidently they have Bears roster an offensive guard named Bill Murray. And then Jerome Carvin, I'm going to say, is out. So, and again, this is just to get my numbers kind of to more of my understanding of where they will be as far as true starting caliber guys, or not starting caliber, but NFL roster caliber guys. And then let's see, let's hold on to Bajan there, secret Bajan man. Let's let Adrian Colbert and Douglas Coleman off of here. and Steven Carlson, and Simba Webster. Okay, so now I'm looking at this. I got like 36 guys that I feel like are gonna be on the roster. And I just signed a center, so I feel fine there with that. And so here's your roster before free agency and the draft, and here's your roster count after free agency and the draft. See how I have Andre James signed here. It's 36 over here. It's 37 over here. And the positions that have red in them, those are your positions where you might need a little while. Or maybe you feel pretty comfortable with it. There's different ways you can look at that. But the white is like you could use more. The red is like you might need more outside of fullback here. That's just auto formatting. I don't think you need multiple fullbacks. And red is like you can get by. You're in a good enough spot there. But like even that, it's hit or miss. Like wide receiver 3, you need 3 wide receivers, you know. So it's just to kind of give you a general guide, but it's not absolute. But let's look at cornerback. So I've got 5 corners rostered. I feel pretty good about that. Maybe I'll go back and add a late free agency guy after the draft, but for now, I feel good there. At edge, use some more help. I think that's a spot where you're really looking in free agency to add someone. So I'm going to go with the guy who I feel like will be available, Bryce Huff. And see, it's a pretty hefty cap hit there, but we still have plenty of room to play with here. So I feel like that's okay. And I really like Bryce Huff adding on to the roster. On the interior defensive line, we've got 3 guys between Billings and Dexter and Pickens, and then even a Demarcus Robinson. Or did I mess that up? And even a DeMarcus Walker you've got who can kick inside. I feel like you'd like to add on the interior, but you don't feel like it's a real big need here. I'm gonna hold off on that for the moment. At kicker, we feel good with Cairo Santos. Linebacker, we don't need to add a linebacker. Long snapper, I mean, we have that. We have, what was his name? Let's see here. Cameron Lyons there, so I'm not going to add anything there. If you want to bring back Scales, you absolutely can. Actually, let's just go ahead and bring it back. So we're bringing back Pat Scales, and we're just going to go ahead and let Cameron Lyons go. You know, why tempt fate? Stick with a sure thing. And then at offensive guard, this is a spot that gets more interesting. Because I would like more depth. I think I'd like it more in the draft, though. Let's hold off on that. I think I'd rather target that in the draft. Offensive tackle. So we have 3 tackles between Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones, and Tevin Jenkins, and Larry Bourne. Not Tevin Jenkins, and Larry Bourne. And if there's a swing, maybe you'd like to sign a swing here, like a Yosh Nijman, maybe. Actually, how much is he? Yosh Nijman is, I mean, you're getting good value for Yosh Nijman. But I imagine that his market's probably going to be a little higher than that. And there'll be a place where he can start. I'm not sure that the Bears can actually realistically offer him that. I'm not sure if he's going to be signing a swing tackle deal. Even if he's a good deal, he's going to go a place where he feels like he can start. Outside of that, I mean, with Larry Bourne already in-house, I feel pretty good about that. Quarterback, I think you'd like to see a veteran backup if you're getting a rookie quarterback in-house. You'd like to see a backup who can kind of show him the ropes a little better than Tyson Bagent could. And especially with the 3 quarterback thing now, maybe you can keep Bagent around in that role. From that standpoint, I mean, let's say that we're going to sign like I'm thinking Drew Lock. Because Drew Lock was with Shane Waldron in Seattle last year, actually won a game for them. So that's a fit, I think. That feels right. And then, let's see. Oh, wait. I forgot. At corner, we need to bring back Jalen Johnson. and you see that little asterisk next to him, that means he got it's the franchise tag, or a player that's likely to be tagged. I can't believe I almost forgot that one. At running back, I feel like anything that they add will probably be through the draft. They got 3 backs on the roster right now. And remember, so we have about $25 million left in cap space because 17 is going to be going to the draft class. Plus, honestly, if you look at trading down, it could get a little higher. At safety, this one's a little tougher because you need some safety, and you probably need it through the draft. But also, let's see. I'm gonna try to just pick guys pretty quick. Let's go after Julian Blackman because he's familiar with Matt Eberflus, so that feels good. That feels like a spot that makes some sense. It's a guy who's a bit more middle tier and might be good value there at a younger age. And tight end, we're definitely gonna need a tight end too here. I really like Noah Fant personally, but who knows? He might want to go somewhere where he's tight end 1. I think Colby Parkinson makes sense too. Both of them were with Shane Waldron in Seattle. So let's just go with Colby Parkinson here. And then wide receiver. I think you really need to add a wide receiver who can be a wide receiver 3, if not wide receiver 2 type guy. Honestly, Darnell Mooney would be great, but I think that is gone. Like maybe a Curtis Samuel would make some sense. I really think Tyler Boyd would make sense too, but I think he's a little older, which does scare me away a little. So let's just go with Curtis Samuel here, and then we might need another receiver still here, honestly, guys, because puts us at 4. Let's see who else might be interesting. Yeah, let's go with the Trent Sherfield. Just as a roster insurance type guy. He's familiar with the scheme and he's played in it, and you can, do some stuff with that. So now I'm starting to feel pretty good about where my roster is sitting going into the draft. I got 5 wide receivers, 3 offensive guards, 3 offensive tackles, 1 center. I'd still like more depth on the interior O line, especially a guy who can play center and fill in at guard. That's really what I'm going to be targeting in the draft. On the D line, man, maybe I should be signing a guy on the D line. I don't have a ton left over here. Maybe I can go after a guy like Taylor Tart. No, that's going to put me over the salary cap later once I sign the draft picks. Maybe we just bring Justin Jones back. That puts us really tight there, though. Go for Javon Kinlaw, maybe. But, I mean, realistically, they probably want a few million going into the season. Let's see if there's any other guys who we can say that we're gonna let go. And say that also say that you did make a trade. Say that you traded, like, I don't know, you traded down from number 1 and you picked up like a Terry McLaurin. So you would go into here, trade in wide receiver, type Terry McLaurin, and you go to your Google, look up Terry McLaurin over the cap, go to his contract, see that, okay, 2024 cap hit 24.1, but if they were to trade him, they would eat, 16 of that? Is that right? So I believe his cap hit to the Bears would only be 7.3 million because they'd be eating a bunch of it. No, okay. So their cap savings would be 7.3. So what his contract would be 24.1 million minus 7.3 million. So he'd be looking at a $16.8 million cap hit. You got to put that in there too. But let's see. And you got to make sure to put the player active to make sure it's flowing through here in the cap. And then from there, so that means, that eats up the rest of our cap space if we were to do that though. But I was just doing that to show you guys how to trade for a player and put them into this. And then at which point, say that you did that, you would go, we traded the number 1 pick, and then any other draft picks you put in or that you picked up in that trade, you would just put into these boxes. You got all these boxes here to add draft picks with. But since I'm not doing that trade, putting the number 1 pick back to active, I did not add Terry McLaurin here, and we are just gonna go keep moving along. Man, I want a value guy on the D line, like a 3-tech who I feel like could be on the team, like an LJ Collier maybe. I think that gives us a little depth there. I don't love the player. Maybe a Puna Ford, a guy who's on the cheaper end, approaching 30. If he doesn't make the roster, oh well. But I have some depth there that I feel like I can play with, and I still have 4 or 5 million in cap space after the draft. Okay, so now that we have finished up our free agency here, let's get to drafting. So right up here, let's move this over a little. I have links to the PFF mock draft machine and the Pro Football Network mock machine. You can use either one, or you can use a different one if you prefer to. But we just go right in here to the draft, and we'll say, doing 7 rounds as the Chicago Bears. Let's go ahead and enter the draft. And first things first, so I need to put that trade in, because if you remember, I traded Justin Fields for the number 40 pick, so I need to put that in there into the trade machine. I know it. The only reason I was able to do it was because I've done it. Or, I'm sorry, the number 43 pick, not number 40. Let's fix that up here. 43. I've done this so many times, I know it's going to get accepted. There we go. So now our draft capital's all evened up. I'm actually go ahead and get my draft on. So I'm going to go ahead with Caleb Williams here at 1. Then at 9, all my receivers are off the board, which sucks. But it gives me a chance to show you guys how to do a trade down. So I'm not trading with the Vikings. Screw the Vikings. I'm going to go... Man, these trade options suck. Maybe I will trade with the Vikings. Heck yeah. So I'm going to trade 9 for 11. And let's say I want 42 in return. I'll give them 75. Let's see if they'll take that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet here, and I traded 9 and 75. Right? So I trade away number 9. I trade away number 75. I added number 11. And I added number 42. So I'm going to add those in there. And there you go. Now my draft capital should be updated here. I'm going to resume the draft. And now I'm sitting here. I signed Bryce Huff already, so I edge kind of, man. I'd almost rather go interior than an edge rusher there. But this is just for showing you guys. Let's go ahead with Jared Verse here, because I feel like he could play the base end. And then we will just speed through the rest of this. So I'm going to pick up Chris Jenkins to beef up the interior, because I feel really good about my exterior. Well, first, I'm going to take Keon Coleman here because he's here, which I don't know if he will be. And I'll take... Actually, let's see. So I don't have a pick now until 110. So I actually don't know if I can afford to take an interior player right here. As much as, well, I mean, I got Andre James. See if I can trade down. Trading down to like pick 50. Give him 43. No, I don't want to pick 50. Oh, 49. 49 and 80 for 43 and... No. I'd like to pick something up in that mid-range there. 59 and 85. Let's grab 164 while we're at it. Okay. That's awful. Okay, so now I no longer have pick 43. So I'm just going to take it out of my trading draft picks section here. But now I do have 59, 85, and 164. So let's go ahead and add in pick 59, pick 85, and pick 164. Let's resume. All right, now, so I have picked up a wide receiver, quarterback, and an edge rusher. And I'd like to get some interior help here somewhere, or some interior offensive line help. Let's see what we got for interior O-line. No, it's a little early for some of those guys. Let's see, interior D-line. This is a good spot to take Brandon Dorless. I like that pick. Brandon Dorless, you are a Chicago Bear. And now I'm at pick 85. Let's see what there is on the interior O-line. Like some of those guys, but I think it's a little rich for some of them. Let's see. So at this point, we're at pick 85. Some strong value. I mean, I actually think Trey Benson makes a lot of sense. I'm just going to go ahead and do Trey Benson on this one. Pick 110. I actually really like Mekhi Wingo, too. I'm going to have a tough time passing on that. Yeah, let's take Mekhi Wingo. And I still need to add interior O-line and safety. I like Bo Limmer here a lot at 122. And I want to get developmental safety. Bo Brady, perfect. That works. And then, let's see, did I forget anything? I might have forgotten something, but like I said, this is all just for show. It's to show you guys what's going on with all of this. And then, oh wait, did I take interior O-line? I got Bo Limmer. Okay. And then we're taking Ben Sinnott because there's no way he is going to be this low in the draft. And we need tight ends because it's Shane Waldron we're talking about here. So now, we have our draft here. PFF gave me an A. Yay. But let's go ahead and put our draft picks into here. So with the number 1 pick, we took a quarterback. With the number 11 pick, we took an edge rusher. With the number 42, we took a wide receiver. Let's see, number 59, took an interior defender. 85, we took a running back. 110, we took another interior defender. So this is where it gets a little weird. So I'm just going to put that under linebacker because I don't have another spot here to double down on a position. Just put it somewhere in there if you're doubling down at a position. 122, I took a center. And it won't, putting 110 as a linebacker, that's not going to mess anything up here. It's really just to count your salary cap space and stuff like that. And then 146, I took a safety. So we'll go ahead and put it in there. Or is that 142? 146? All right. The pick number might be a little off there, right? You get some differing opinions of where the Bears will be because comp picks haven't come in yet. But once they do, I'll get it all finalized in here. And then 164, I took a tight end. And we are just barely over the salary cap here at $808,000 left over. So with that being said, let's see here. Let's say that Dominique Robinson gets released here. And then Baskerville said he's not making the active roster. Tyson Bajan. Maybe we can stash him on the practice squad. Where does that put us? Put us at 51 players in the active roster, 3.5 million left over in cap space. That feels pretty good. Now, just so you know, if you did go over the cap, this thing's turning red. The Bears are who we thought they were. You're over the salary cap. You fix it, Super Bears, Super Bowl. All right. And so now we're looking at finalizing the step chart. So at QB1, we're gonna go with pick 1, which is, of course, Caleb Williams. And then at backup, we got Drew Lock. Running back, first string here. I mean, it's probably going to be Khalil Herbert to start the season. And second string, I'm going to say that's going to be pick 85. That's going to be Trey Benson. Wide receiver 1, DJ Moore. Wide receiver 2 is actually, I think, would be pick 42, which was Keon Coleman. And then Curtis Samuel, wide receiver 3. We got Tyler Scott at 4. Trent Sherfield at 5. And Bayless at 6. Tight end, Cole Kmet's going to be top dog. And then we also signed Colby Parkinson. But then we also, even behind that, have Ben Sinnott, who's probably taking Parkinson's role as tight end too, if they somehow manage to get him in the draft. Left tackle, we got Braxton Jones. Left guard, we have got Tevin Jenkins. At center, we got Andre James. At right guard, we got Nate Davis. At right tackle, we got Darnell Wright. I feel pretty good about that O-line. And then at swing tackle, we got Larry Borum, which is fine with me. I'm okay with that. Swing interior O-line, who did we take there? So we got Bo Limmer at backup center, but I think Tyree Carter is still your guy here. And we got Bo Limmer at pick 122. And Bo Limmer can also, he's got versatility in guard spot, so he's even an insurance plan for Tyree Carter. Is kind of what I want in that middle tier interior lineman. On the interior D line, so we got Billings starting. We got Dexter starting. We got Pickens behind them. And then we have Poona Ford also. So we got some decent depth there. Montez Sweat starting on the D-line. And we got Marcus Walker's probably still your starter here as base. And you got Bryce Huff coming in. Or Bryce Huff's probably, he gets paid too much to not be a starter. DeMarcus Walker is your next guy up. And then we also drafted Jared Verse at number 11. So maybe not the most efficient use of number 11, but man, this D-line will be fun. I can tell you that much. And then linebacker, Jermaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards are your starters. We got Jackie Boy behind him, and then Noel Sewell as well. We franchise tag Jalen Johnson. Then we got Tyreek Stevenson next to him, Kyler in the slot. And behind them, we got Terrell Smith, and we got Greg Stroman and Jalen Jones sitting there as well. And then at strong safety, we're going to have Brisker. At free safety, we'll have Blackman. Let's see, what pick was Bo Brady? 146. So Bo Brady is going to be your backup. So, and then we will also have Elijah Hicks still in house, and maybe we could use a little more there at safety, but I don't know. I think that'll work. And then we have Cairo Santos at kicker, Trenton Gill, Mr. Manners over there at punter, Pat Scales at long snapper. So overall, offense coming in below average, defense coming in as good, and team average is average. Now, granted, we are starting a few rookies. That's going to change our score here a lot. Like, let's say that Caleb comes in with a PFF grade of 65, and Coleman comes in with a PFF grade of 65. Puts it closer to average than it was. Say that Caleb comes in at 70 and Coleman comes in at 70. All of a sudden, this offense is average. So that's the impact that the rookies can have for you. But so don't get too disturbed if this says below average, because just know this offense is going to be starting multiple rookies. It's going to impact what that is coming out as. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. I hope you guys enjoy it, and bear down.